Seddy Bimco episode 117.
You know it.
Was it right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yes. America's foremost podcast exploring the art of revenge, in which we craft sequels to movies, revenge-based sequels, that is, to movies that previously never had them. Nope. We're currently in the midst of a tour of the 50 Nifty United States, but Tim, we are taking a departure from the 50 Nifty this week, aren't we?
Yep, the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yes, not a state, just a U.S. territory. So we're exploring.
In the rule book.
It's in the rule book. We'll talk about it. Yes, and the movie representing the Virgin Islands. Dinosaurus. No,
Dinosaurus? Is that the real name?
Yeah, you didn't notice that?
I was.
Yeah.
Look.
No, it's Dinosaurus, 1960s, filmed in St. Croix Island.
We're going to watch that.
We're
going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it and create revenge sequels.
But that. What?
Okay.
What's your age-old question, Tim? What's your age-old question?
About revenge. You're going to love it.
Oh, boy. Did Mother Hubbard ever get revenge for the man who made her live in a shoe? Is that it?
Nope. Right. This is about history. You know Pesky Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yes. Yes, I do.
He was the patsy for killing JFK.
Those of you, because we know, of course, you killed JFK.
Right.
Yes.
So Lee Harvey Oswald, did he ever get revenge on his prankster coworkers at his book depository job who told him that Friday, November 22nd was Bring Your Gun to Work Day?
Can I answer the question?
Hate those pranksters.
Wait, can I answer? No, he didn't, because he got killed by Jack Ruby just days later. So no, he never did. Those guys were like, let's not mention this at the office party. They
put his stapler in Jell-O mold too.
Oh man, what dicks. Jell-O was like such a precious commodity in the early 60s too.
It's Seddy Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted.
So, Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge. Here we are.
Part 2, The Revenge. Here we are.
It's going to be one of the greatest shows ever, George.
It is.
Because I'm relaxed.
Because normally, folks, you wouldn't know, normally our precision show is run by a rigid Tim. He is stiff and unyielding. Tim is... Why are you so relaxed, Tim? What happened?
Nothing, just relax. Chilling.
Why?
That's all.
Well, is it anything to do with those loud engine noises we always hear zooming by in the background?
Yeah, everything's squared away.
Squared away for what, Tim? For those of you who don't know, first off, let us just remind you, this we do not, when you're listening to Seddy Bimco, it's not live. I know it seems like we're talking to you in the moment, but it's actually recorded weeks, sometimes months in advance.
Sometimes years.
And this is This is the last episode that you will hear where I am a single man. So sorry, all you enterprising folks out there who are hoping to, make my acquaintance, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, 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 wink. I'm off the market. And Tim and I will be meeting shortly in Roma, the eternal city, where I'll be having my nuptials. Did I say eternal wrong? Is that what you said?
No.
Did you say eternal? Okay.
No. Eat turtles, yes. They're yummy.
Eat turtles, yes. You get confused because all the Renaissance artists who lived in Rome, you're like, wait, Michelangelo, he's the turtle with the nunchucks. Raphael, he's buried in the Pantheon. That guy's got the size.
When Mr. Cablasto was here, he was upset. I didn't know which weapon each turtle used. I'm like, they're all ninjas. They have swords, right? And he's like,
Tim, even I'm upset with that.
I don't know what weapons each one has. Come on.
Come on, Tim. Really? Wait, Tim.
Well, he thought I should know. I don't know.
Can you actually name the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Isn't it Donatello, Michelangelo, Van Gogh, and Picasso?
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell everybody. Yeah, don't. Tim's a fancy artist guy. Remember that.
Everybody and George.
I forgot this part.
I got my finger in there. We draw a wild card because after we talk about... in the bedpan.
Without context, Tim just saying, I got my finger in there. People just turned off the podcast. They're like, I thought this was good Christian entertainment.
I'm always saying that.
All right, so you're pulling out. This is everyone for you. If you're new to us, we, in addition to our finely crafted sequels of revenge, we'll spool out later. We kind of improv one on the spot, which is determined. The subject is determined by reaching into a jar, pulling out a number, and this number assigns to a pre-written list.
Yeah.
Tim, what number do we get today?
It's 13.
And what is number 13 on the list?
Who is most likely to cry during a cat circus in Australia?
So who from this movie we'll discuss today is most likely to cry at a cat circus in, you said Australia or Austria?
That's Australia.
Okay.
Down under.
Mm.
We just talked about down under last week. That's a coincidence.
Yep. And apparently we have a lot of listeners in Australia, so let's try not to be too offensive to these people. Yeah.
They like it.
They like our abuse.
Oh,
right.
You know what?
Do we
I have something to talk about. I'm going to send you a
revenge?
picture.
Okay. Is this going to be sent to my phone?
Yes. I'll cut out
my phone up.
So George, this person is not an actor.
Everybody, Tim just sent me a picture of what looks like, I don't know, a leather Cheerio of some. Tim, what am I looking at here?
It didn't send it yet.
Is this a balloon knot?
Oops,
what is
leather
this?
Cheerio. That's the wrong one.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
That was for Mr. Blasto. I watched this documentary. Have you heard about it? It's about a Ren Fair. I think it's called Ren Fair.
I have not, no.
So there's a Ren Fair in Texas. This man has run for like the past 50 years, and he kept getting bigger and bigger, so he just kept buying the town. He owns a whole town, and that's the biggest Ren Fair, either in America or Texas.
Okay.
And, it's like people work there, and they're in charge of people dressing up. So this man is like 95, and the show is about him selling it. So he does a good bit of acting, but here it comes. I say, how on the scale, the Jack Elam scale.
Okay.
Where do you think this man, they call him King George.
And just to explain to you all the Jack Elam scale, Jack Elam is a character actor from the, I'd say, late 60s through the 80s sometime. Yeah. Wild-eyed drifters was his specialty. If you saw a movie with an old coot, a wacky old drunk, a hobo, probably Jack Elam played him, made a one wandering eye. I'm going to click on this picture now.
Or that movie called Wild-eyed Drifters.
Wait. Okay, so folks. All right.
Yes.
We on Seddy Bimco are not an ableist podcast, but this
it's I'm not making fun of him, but he's got some Jack Elam looks.
And seriously, for 95, I should be so lucky to look this good at this thing. But yeah, his eyes are. He has a wide field of vision. Let's just say they're not focused, and he has a little star, like a little gold star.
He's got a general's uniform. He's called King George. He's in charge of the whole Ren Fair.
It's upsetting. That's the general uniform, not really part of the Renaissance. Renaissance fairs in general, kind of not really Renaissance, more of a mid-ages pastiche. This guy looks like he's dressed like, Gold Star. You put it together, folks.
Yes. It's okay if you want to laugh at him a little bit because he is single and he's on dating apps saying, yeah, I'm a sugar daddy. And
he knows what works, I guess.
And they film him on dates with 25 and 30-year-olds. And he's talking to them and he's like, I just want some company, some eating, and then we'll get to some screwing, huh? I really like to screw.
He really says that?
That's it. Yeah, yes, that's what he does on his dates. He doesn't say screw. Right. He's like, I'm into the sex,
What are the women who are, I assume it's women. What are the women he's like, are they reacting?
They're laughing uncomfortably because they're weighing in their head. Sugar daddy, but sex.
This guy owns the whole town, but he is dressed like a generalissimo, and he does look. He's pretty high in the Jack Elam scale because I'm assuming these women are Seddy Bimco fans.
Yes, I assume.
Tim, question.
Anyway,
do you think these potential sugar daughters? Do you think that in terms of Seddy Bimco, who is their favorite host? Do you think they're Tim fans or George fans?
Tim Sugar Daddy Hamilton.
Are they Kablastonauts?
It could be.
Are they John Kellites?
No.
Wow, everybody, you didn't see John Kelly, our former co-host. Tim got so mad when I said that he flipped over his recording station.
Well, they're young women, George. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, not really John's
awkward, George.
That's not awkward. John was very open about his main avenue of preference.
I know.
Not young women, yes.
So yeah, it's called Ren Fair. It's on Netflix or something.
Yep.
Maybe
I
HBO.
Don't know. Is it worth seeing?
You don't have to concentrate on it. It's just weird. Because there's all these people that work there and they love working there. And he's kind of a mean guy. He fired one, didn't tell him why. And the guy's like, well, please, it's my whole life. Please, can't I work there? Please, it's all I know how to do.
All my life I've wanted to walk around wearing lederhosen and brandishing a turkey leg. And finally I found the place to do it. And now...
I don't mean to make fun of them. Looks like a fun life if you like it. He spends his whole day going, hat. Those shoes aren't right, mister. Hat. You need a hat. I guess everybody in the Renaissance wore a hat. It was a must, according to them. I don't know.
I think in the Renaissance, people didn't have tops of their heads, right?
No.
Yeah.
Who knows? It was a million years ago.
Yeah.
According to this movie we're going to watch that had years.
Good segue.
Rampaging in an unsuspecting world. Living creatures from the dawn of time. What havoc will they wreak? What lives will they destroy? What depths of panic and terror will they create?
So the movie is Dinosaurus, 1960, by the producer of The Blob.
And Equinox.
Wait, I didn't catch that part.
Yep.
No, I thought Equinox was Blob.
Produced.
Okay.
Produced.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, real fucking 60s turd of a movie. With some of the diciest science we've ever seen put forth in a Seddy Bimco episode. And we watched an episode about the Amazing Transparent Man. So understand, like, this is... I want to get into facts about the U.S. Virgin Islands first before we get into the movie. But
we'll do this.
I will say, like, I can't figure what the hell the audience was for this movie.
No.
It's
funny. The science was so off, and yet they're like, we're calling the Smithsonian during this movie.
Yeah. It was just bewildering. So yes, this movie, we have been doing our 50-state tour, but when I originally made the little document that would, so we would mark off, so we wouldn't accidentally do the same movie twice, the same state twice. Like, wait, we did Nebraska in week 4 and week 50, yes, like, damn it. We had this document, and just because I was being a bit of a wise guy, I don't know if it was a wise guy. Actually, I was thought it might be interesting. I put in some of the U.S. territories: Guam, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Tim really glommed onto the Virgin Islands bit, and he was like right away. Like for a long time, he's like, "I've got the perfect one for this." I was worried that Tim was thinking it was maybe a porno.
Oh, jeez. Porno called Dinosaurus?
Well, you didn't write Dinosaurus for a long time. You just said, I have a great one for this. And it was under the U.S. Virgin Islands. And it was you. So you could see why I was worried.
I think we also did this just in case you never find a movie for, like, Idaho.
There was one so far.
We have 50.
Because I was going more or less alphabetical for a bit there. Delaware was the one I really couldn't find a movie that worked for me.
Okay.
But then it occurred to me, isn't like all of John Waters' films in Delaware?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's Baltimore and Maryland, not Delaware.
Oops. Yeah. See, you just say things and I'm like, yep.
Yep. I could have said something really. I'm like, Tim, don't you agree you should give me all your money? You're like, yep. Oh, it's on recording now. Damn it. So Delaware, that's going to be a hard one. Folks, if you are a Delawarean or you're aware of Delaware and you know of a regional film there, please send it to us at Seddy Bimco with an E at the end of the Bimco at gmail.com.
I'm relaxed and ready.
Tim, keep saying you're relaxed. What happened to make you so relaxed? Did you get an enema? What happened?
No. I was relaxed last week, and I'm like, that went well.
Which episode did we record last week? Oh, Gator. That was a good one. So. I liked that movie, too. All right, the U.S. Virgin Islands. The 3 main islands are St. Croix, which is where this movie was primarily filmed, St. John, and St. Thomas. And then there's something like 100 smaller islands, some of which are privately owned, some are all part of this, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into that a little bit. Yeah. It was sold to, this is a current currency kerner, the only one for this entire episode, by the way. George's current currency kerner.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was sold to the U.S. by Denmark in 1917 for $25 million.
$25 million back then?
I know, right? In 1917.
Was that in clams, though, or?
No, it was in
Deutschmarks.
No.
What are Denmark? What's Denmark currency?
Denny's coupons.
Yeah, okay. I figured.
Yep. I don't know what it is in Denmark, but I'll tell you this, Tim. It's rotten there.
It is.
Heady humor at Seddy Bimco. So do you want to guess with current currency kerner what $25 million from 1917 is worth now?
That's unimaginable. I can't imagine a number that high.
No, you can. It's 613. Oh, wait. $613,416,015.63.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
That
was a lot of money back then, too.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, I was very surprised because normally you hear these land deals. It's like they bought it for like 2 pigs and a nickel. And it's like, wow, we really paid a lot for this. But yeah. It was called the Virgin Islands. Guess who named it?
I read this.
Christopher fucking Columbus. And he called it the Virgin Islands because he was a big old virgin.
No, it's
and
named after.
He was like, it's my islands and I'm a virgin. Brr.
That is true.
That's true. Yep. Did you hear about Little St. James Island?
I didn't.
One of the 100 islands. Know what it's better known as, Tim?
Little Timmy?
No, Epstein Island.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. And you know how I found this bit of information out? You know how week after week well, yes, of course. You know, I'm a big my other podcast, Eking Out Epstein. I don't know. That didn't work.
Exploring Epstein.
Ooh, gross. I don't like that.
That's gross too.
So week after week, when we visit these places, I customarily find when the first elevator in an area was built. When I typed in first elevator in Virgin Islands, this came right up. I didn't really read the article, but it's entirely possible that the first elevator in the Virgin Islands has something to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh dear.
So let's stop talking about that.
Okay.
Then
you sure?
This is yes.
It's a wealth of humor.
I don't think he's that funny.
No.
That's the funny thing about him is he's not that funny.
No.
And then I also, week after week, I always look up the first streetcar.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is weird.
Was it named Epstein?
Nope.
Okay,
no.
That's good.
There was literally an article that came up called Streetcar Line of the Virgin Islands. I'm like, damn, that's going to be easy. However, the thing that was called the Streetcar Line of the Virgin Islands was actually the Cape Antilles, the West Antilles airboats.
Cape Antilles airboats?
Not Cape Antilles, West Antilles airboats.
What are they? What's an airboat?
Yeah, it was a series. It was a fleet of 25 airboats that would fly people from island to island.
What year?
The boats. This was started. I didn't actually get when it was started, but it's not that long ago.
Okay.
Because you know who was the fucking operator of this?
Epstein.
And no, Maureen O'Hara, the actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She and her husband created it after she retired from acting. And she ran it up until Hurricane Hugo destroyed their fleet. Ooh. And then she went back to Ireland. And she's still alive, apparently. This is of 2021 when this article was written. She's like 96.
Wow.
And so there was no real streetcar. There was just a series of airboats because, rich people. Yep. So a few more factoids really quick. St. Croix, the island that this was on.
Yeah.
Its original name among the Taino people, who were the first indigenous people to live there, was Ai, which meant the river. Then the Carib people lived there, who we get the name the Caribbean from, and they called it, I don't know if it's a Cibuquiera or Chibuquiera, but that means the stony land.
Okay.
Yep. And then the French came there and they called it Cross Island because they suck. And that's the island sticks. Yeah, Cross Island.
All right. This is all true.
Yep. Yeah. All my facts this week are actually true.
Waiting for your jokes.
Oh, here's the one that's not true. It's famous for its bioluminescent bays. A lot of people don't realize that that's caused by dinosaur blood.
Okay.
Yep. That's it. That's all I got. I got no jokes this week. They were just like, there were so many weird actual facts that I'm like, I'm going to record all this shit.
Okay. We'll move on then.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
We will.
Jack H. Harris production.
Yep. Jack H. Harris, producer of The Blob, producer of Equinox. He was also the weary guy in the boat at the end who's like, nothing exciting happens in that island.
It's like him and his whole family, I think.
Yeah. Ugly people. No, that's not true, folks.
They weren't all ugly.
No, I just felt like saying that because I'm mean.
Greg Martel, he plays the Neanderthal in this movie. Just wanted to point out.
Tim. Yep.
Well, he's a veteran from World War II. That's not a spoiler. He had a long career in film and television and later became a health food wholesaler. That's his life.
And was he a specialist in the paleo diet?
Yeah. He was.
That's pretty rough when you're. I mean, folks, have we talked to him on this podcast about how you, as a human being, are you have a higher percentage of Neanderthal blood than is usual?
Yes. No, DNA.
DNA, yes. What is your percentage again? It's like you're 85% Neanderthal?
That's true. You can freeze me in ice.
Did you feel a great kinship to this movie because of this?
Oh, God.
You stand up and like pound your chest and said, mi gente.
He wasn't even a Neanderthal, I don't think. He was just a caveman.
They kept calling him a Neanderthal.
I don't know why.
Well, should I get into the scientific discrepancies or should I wait? Let's wait.
Let's go through
I have
sections.
I got a tirade all bubbling up in me. Let's start this movie.
Yeah. Because first it's a miniature set where these white people blowing things up.
Yep.
Hey, angry already.
Yep.
There's a man in sorry.
The man is Bart. I wrote down he's
the worker, yeah.
He's our main white guy. He is an engineer. He exudes that sort of early 60s, like just There's something about those leading men. They're just like, what turgid turds of human beings. But there was something about them. They're just like, that's the people I want to be. They're always like, they're condescending all the time. They treat every woman like they're hysterical. This movie, let me tell you, we're dealing with a movie where we get offensive Latin American stereotypes in this one. We get some offensive black stereotypes. We get offensive Irish stereotypes. Like this movie really pulls out all the stops and like it goes after everyone. It's like it's
caveman
shocking. Caveman stereotypes.
But there is a
terrible
man,
dinosaur information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hacker's his name, the man in the white suit.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Well, he's upset they're blowing things up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm on your side. It's your island, right? But also he's a bad guy because he slaps this kid Julio a lot. He slaps kids, and he's
he has funny ideas of making money.
Funny.
We'll get to that. Yeah, so Hacker
he's the Ralph Cramden of this movie.
It is funny, too. Like, he's supposed to be the indigenous guy. He speaks with, like, a vaguely affected Hispanic accent of some variety, but his name is Hacker.
Yes.
He wears a white linen suit
and
a white hat. Yeah, I'm like, the screenwriters just couldn't figure out a name. Because, like, really, there's a couple of characters in this movie who are supposed to be Hispanic, and they don't. There's the old guy who's, I think he's supposed to be Hispanic, and his name is Dumpy.
Dumpy, I got to talk about Dumpy.
What the fuck? The only Hispanic character who gets an actual Hispanic name is Julio, and he's always down at the schoolyard.
So yeah,
with me.
Jeez, you got ahead of my notes. Well, George, we'll get this out of the way because Dumpy, we got Chuck, Bart, Dumpy, Betty, and Julio. Those are kind of our likable people.
Who's somewhat. Chuck? Is Chuck the other white guy?
Yep, the other white guy. Every white guy needs a white guy pal.
He does. And you know what's interesting? The white guy pal I always find to be much more palatable.
Yeah.
They're always just a little bit more normal. Much. Yeah. He had the Hispanic girlfriend and like he treated her better.
Yep.
Like, and he's not like a super condescending douche. Like the 60s leading man is always just like a guy I just want to see die.
True.
Chuck looked less oily. Like he just looked like Chuck. You could see nowadays, be like, you look like a normal person. Fucking Bart comes to the future. Like, what is with your shellacked hair? You fucking nozzle.
Well, now they put it on mustaches. So in Williamsburg. But
we should mention, no mustaches here because in case the mustaches were used to either denote dumpiness, like in Dumpy, or if you have a full beard, you're a bad guy, like Hacker. You could tell he was bad because he had a beard.
True. And
if you had a beard in the 60s, you were pure evil.
He put like little smoking embers in his beard.
He was Blackbeard the Pirate?
Yeah, he was Blackbeard the Pirate.
Wow, that's cool. Wow.
A funny reference that's not even funny. It's just
no, it's just a weird just your mind knitting shit together.
So Dumpy. Who would name someone Dumpy? So I'm gonna get this out of the way quick. I have a list.
Your list. Oh! All right.
There are many stories as to why he has the name Dumpy. Here's the top 3.
Well, I'm betting one involves pooping himself.
It's too easy. That was the name written on the grease rag he was wrapped in when he was left on the stoop of the John Deere dealer. That's one story why he's named Dumpy. Okay. The other story is his mom, he only knew 2 names, so she flipped a coin. Heads, it was Dumpy, and tails, it was Fitzgerald von Vanderbilt III.
That's weird. That's actually 3 names.
And it actually landed on tails, but she's like, Dumpy's easier. Easier
to spell. Look at this guy. It looks like a dump.
So the third story is a Dumpy. He would tell people he chose this name himself because he had a premonition about writing a series of books titled Bulldozing for Dumpies, Chasing Dinosaurs for Dumpies, and Building Your Own Toilet for Dumpies.
Well,
gotcha. Got your turd joke in there.
Yep. So Dumpy is a kind grandfatherly man who, like I said, I think he's supposed to be Hispanic, but the actor clearly wasn't and couldn't do the accent, couldn't maintain it. Came and went like the wind. And he's an indigenous person. He operates not a dump truck, like a bulldozer, because they're clearing out a harbor for this island.
That would make sense, right? If he drove a dump truck, they call him Dumpy. But he drove a bulldozer. They should have called him Bully.
I think he's called Dumpy because he looks dumpy. He was just like a chubby old guy. It's like, I'm like, man, Dumpy, are you going to put up for this fucking Bart asshole calling you Dumpy? And when we first meet Dumpy, he is in the company of a young child named Julio. Hiding him because, various people want. Bart doesn't want Julio around because Julio might be getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because they're blowing up dirt and moving dirt. And then they're also hiding Julio from Hacker, who is maybe Julio's dad.
Seems like he works for him. He's like, you should be back at the bar cleaning up cigarette butts.
That's what he something. Said. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And then we meet Betty, who's this blonde lady, and like
she comes in a boat.
They say she's like a rich lady's daughter, a rich guy's daughter.
Well, later in the movie, her mom lives alone on the island. I'm going to go into that.
Oh, that's her mom.
Her mom's house. I
didn't realize that was her mom.
Yep.
Okay.
I figured that out.
But she comes in a boat and they like shoot explosives at her.
Yep. They're like, get out of here, you stupid dame.
Yep.
And
she gets knocked overboard.
Now they knock her food in there and she goes, I'm going down to get lunch. I don't care about you guys. And anyway.
She dives into the water. This is after they lobbed explosives at her.
Yes.
And
she sees a dinosaur.
She sees a dinosaur face underwater and she freaks out. She comes up, she's freaking out. And like they lay her down on her belly. And
she fainted. She didn't freak out.
She freaks out first underwater.
Oh, yeah. Because her grandmother was killed by a dinosaur. That's why.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, given the time scale of this movie, probably.
I know.
I thought that the scene of her like laying on her belly where they're just kind of focusing on her butt, I'm like, this seems a little prurient.
That's the old-fashioned CPR. You remember that? You just lay someone on their stomach and push the water out of their lungs.
Just touch their butt until the water comes out. What was the movie that we watched, Tim, where it was a fucking piece of trash movie where like
Love After Death.
Love After Death.
It's all rubbing butts.
If this was Love After Death, that was the perfect position to take her clothes off. She wakes up. She's like, I saw a horrible, horrible face underwater.
His name was Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, zings. Yeah, take that, Jeffrey Epstein. No, Tim, you know who's probably a guest on Epstein's Island? Donald Trump Jr. Give him a zinger.
Which one? Oh, not
both. Well, you know Donald Trump
Eric.
Sr. was.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
So
wait. You hate Eric Trump, not Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah, just Eric.
Oh, because Eric beat you up once and pulled your pants down, right?
Right, yeah.
And laid you on the beach on your belly, and you're like, no.
Pushed water out of my lungs.
And they said, that Eric Trump is the worst nuisance at the beach.
He could kick sand in my face.
Yep. But then that's when you read that ad on the back of your comic book. And you just came back, you're blowing Bazooka Joe bubbles, and then he popped the bubble and put it in the sand, and you cried.
Yes.
Yeah, good story.
This went somewhere.
Yep, this did.
So he doesn't believe her that she saw dinosaurs. He's like, you're hysterical.
Bart doesn't. Yeah, he literally says, stop being hysterical.
So that time of the
First
month again,
many times he says that.
He just says stuff like that.
You dumb dame.
He says that, not me. But then Chuck comes in and says, I saw a dinosaur. He gets up, he goes, oh my God, a dinosaur. Confirmed by a man. He does. That's what happens.
I know, yeah. Yeah, this is not the first time in the movie where something a woman or child sees is immediately written off as just insanity. So they use a crane to reach into the water, and they pull out. Mind you, this is a tropical island, but this water was, I guess, down beneath enough.
They explained, George, it was compressed frozen gas.
Yeah,
makes sense.
It does make sense. And they pull out 2 frozen complete dinosaurs.
Yep, Brontosaurus and Triceratops. Did they live in the same period, George? Tyrannosaurus. Sorry.
Let me go off on this. All right, start. Tim, can you start the rant music?
I don't know if I have any.
All right. So the movie Dinosaurs, Julio, the little boy, identifies the creatures because he had sent away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he sent away for dinosaurs from his cereal box.
It's little George.
It's little George, but like little George would have known what the fuck he was talking about. So he identifies the one dinosaur as a Brontosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Brontosaurus. Okay, there's a whole thing of Brontosaurus, right?
Right.
It's famously not a real dinosaur. It was, basically during the Bone Wars, which I won't get into. It was discovered without a head. They took another dinosaur's head, slapped it on there, called it a Brontosaurus. And then it was later determined, and not even that long after, like a year or two, you just put a wrong head in an Apatosaurus. Brontosaurus is named an Apatosaurus. That said, in 2015, a paper was published where these three researchers argued that there is a distinction between a Brontosaurus and a Apatosaurus. Still, most people don't agree with this. Brontosaurus lived from approximately 156 million to 146 million years ago.
Yes.
Lived in the continental United States. It grew to be about 70 foot long, weighed about 15 tons. All right? That's Brontosaurus.
There's your dinosaur. Knowledge.
Yeah. The other one is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is a very bad model. It's got 3 fingers. Everybody knows they got 2. T-Rex only lived from about 68 to 65 million years ago.
Okay.
Reminder, a Brontosaurus, as we're going to call it, even though it's really an Apatosaurus, lived between 156 and 146 million years ago. So about 90 million years of time separating these two species.
Well, I got it wrong in Jurassic Park too then, George.
No, because they were bringing them back from clones. These were not frozen specimens.
Gotcha.
But I have a thing to explain this. A T-Rex was lived in the western United States. Mm-hmm. Remember, everybody, this is taking place in the
1960.
In the U.S. Virgin Islands. So
right.
that I'm mentioning where their location was. They grew to be about like 40 foot long, maybe 45 feet long. They're about maybe 13 to 15 foot high at the waist because they actually were bent over. Mm-hmm. And they weighed about like maybe 8.5 tons.
Nice.
Yep. And then they also discover a fucking Neanderthal.
Yep.
Yeah, which is hilarious. They identify as Neanderthal because I find a guy who's just covered in mud wearing skins. I assume it's just a guy.
I know.
I'm not like, it's a caveman. I'm like, it's a dirty guy. The Neanderthals, Tim, lived about between 800,000 to about 40,000 years ago.
Because
Julio
is like, how long has that dinosaur been there, Chuck? And Chuck's like, a million years.
A million years.
I wrote that down. And how old is Neanderthal? The other guy's like, probably a million years ago.
Yep. So, a million years ago, Neanderthals didn't exist. Neanderthals also only ever lived in Europe. So it's just what I posit, Tim. Now, that was my rant. It's end rant music. What we can say here is that this was not one event where the Brontosaurus, the Tyrannosaurus, and the Neanderthal were all frozen together. I posit there is an underwater space-time warp.
Okay.
That every 90 to 60 million years, somewhere between that, grabs something, freezes it, and deposits it underwater.
You're stealing the Godzilla TV show plot.
Is that really?
Yep. That's how they explain the monsters getting around the planet. There's a under-Earth area, but time travels differently there.
Oh, I think it's just I think it's like Doctor Who shows up and he's like, freeze ray. And he freezes it and leaves it there for like.
Doctor Who, famous for his freeze ray and heat ray.
Yeah. Well,
at Christmas, he sings, I'm Mr. Oh, I forget that song.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that the Rankin Bass puppets are actually different incarnations of the Doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we are now.
Here's the thing. They pull out some fucking frozen dinosaurs. Let me tell you, they will be stop motion. Now they're just big old corpses on the beach, slowly thawing out. I will say nobody is really amazed enough.
No, they're not.
I feel like, the movie Jurassic Park is a great movie. And, there's that famous scene where the two paleontologists and Jeff Goldblum see the dinosaurs for the first time. They lose their shit.
Yep.
Even the most cynical fucking turd, even Bart, in all his 1960s alpha male glory, if you saw a real flesh on the bones dinosaur laying there, I think you would be shitting your pants and you don't know what to deal with. You're like, what the fuck? And these guys are like, well, that's dinosaurs.
Yeah, let's get back to building this pier. We'll just call the Smithsonian.
We'll call the Smithsonian in the morning. Well, yeah, like not like this is the biggest scientific discovery of all time. You know what people love? Fucking dinosaurs.
I know.
This turd of a movie that is the reason you exist in this movie characters is called Dinosaurus because people will flock to see dinosaur shit. And these fucking half-baked pieces of bread are like, whoop, it's a dinosaur. Their only precaution they take is they leave a offensive, drunken Irish stereotype.
I love O'Leary. His name's O'Leary.
O'Leary's a kitey-tie. Oh,
he is.
They literally like, where's O'Leary? And he's hiding. He's like, oh, I was hiding because I saw me a dinosaur. I did. Oi. I thought it was the DTs. Folks, I'm not even lying about this.
No, they leave him in charge of the dinosaur.
Like, all right.
He's all right,
O'Leary, you fucking drunk. Sit here and drink.
Very familiar with the Hitey-Tytosaurus. That's what he says.
He does a little jig. He eats a potato. It's whatever other thing you can make an offensive Irish stereotype. So am I. Tim, I think we're establishing they did stuff that was insensitive with Irish people here. So at this point, they haven't discovered the Neanderthal yet.
No, Hacker finds it in mud.
Hacker finds it. Now, Hacker is aware of the two giant dinosaurs laying next to it on the beach. He finds in the mud along the shore, he finds a man, the guy, Tim mentioned his name, Martel. He's just kind of a thick-featured man. I didn't mention Neanderthals averaged about males, maybe about 5'5", but very stocky, like much thicker. They're like Wolverine of the X-Men. So like he just finds this like guy.
He doesn't check if he's alive or anything. He's just like
drags him into the woods and puts bushes over him. He's like, it's a caveman. And the rest of the movie, his main thing is he's so excited. He's going to be so rich because he found a caveman.
If it's not a caveman now, it's going to be.
But also, like, motherfuck, like there's two dinosaurs. You know what? I'm just going to say in real life, if we somehow found two fucking dinosaurs in a caveman, you know what?
Yeah.
I think people would be a little more excited about the dinosaurs.
I know. I think so too.
And so they leave him on the beach. Bart goes off to the bar. Why?
Let's see. Yeah, part 2. It rains. Lightning strikes. They go to the bar.
Tim, I forgot. Tim's doing this new thing where he names movies by parts now.
It helps us get through here.
Yeah, so they're at a bar on the island. Dumpy's there. Julio's there.
Playing
Chuck's
foosball.
there. Chuck's girlfriend, I want to say is Maria's there. Betty's there. They're all there.
Hacker has a cheetah as his girlfriend. Because that's what happens here. They have a meeting about this caveman with his henchmen. Yeah. She calls her his little hot tamale. All sorts of whatever term you could call.
If you were like a white guy in 1960 writing like what a Hispanic bad guy might call his girlfriend.
Yes.
That's what he would say.
So they're going to, I thought you'd do a Kerner for this because he's paying his men $1,000 each to help him.
Really?
Get this Neanderthal man, remember?
Oh, wait. I didn't.
One guy was dressed like Popeye. How could you not see these guys? Did you see the one guy?
That's what I became so angry at seeing Popeye.
A man dressed like Popeye.
No, so this movie was 1960, right? And it was $1,000. Are you playing the music?
Okay, here we go.
George's Courage Currency Kerner. So $1,000. Do you want to know what that's worth back from then to now, from 1960?
$3,000.
No, way lower, Tim. I mean, you guessed way too low. It's $10,000. $10,610.
10,000, not 1,000.
Yep. No, I meant to say $10,610. And just because I like to be very specific, and 44 cents.
$10,000 to hide a caveman from the Smithsonian.
To hide a quote-unquote caveman, which
a man
could just as easily...
Those guys were like, sure, you found a caveman.
You found a stiff guy dressed in rags buried in the mud. Could literally just be a murder victim or a shipwreck guy or a sleeping hobo. You don't know.
Oh, and the dinosaurs get struck by lightning, I guess? Are we on there?
Well, Leary's on the beach getting drunk, reading an old magazine.
Oh, he's reading Rip Van Winkle comic book. I saw it. I looked close.
Yeah, I figured you had a list about it, like top 10 articles.
But I just saw
that.
It was Rip Van Winkle. No articles.
Did you jump up and down pointing, going, ooh, Rip Van Winkle?
Yes.
And producer Miss Lee was like, Tim, please.
I put closed captioning so I can see people's names and just learn them. When our Irishman talked, I couldn't tell what he was saying.
Because he was drunk and Irish. So he hears a big explosion on the beach. It's the lightning hitting the dinosaurs. We see like that kind of drawn on lightning you see back in old movies.
Right.
And the dinosaurs start moving. It is stop motion.
Some of it, yeah.
Some of it. There's a couple close-ups that are just puppet heads.
They combine it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Stick to one or the other.
I will say this looks pretty good.
The stop motion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
Julio walks down to the beach.
Yep.
And he's right there as he sees it.
Oh, Julio sees it, yeah.
Yeah, and Julio's like, okay, Mr. Brontosaurus, you need to get away quick because the Tyrannosaurus will eat you.
Yep.
And the Brontosaurus does get away first.
It does.
And the Tyrannosaurus, luckily for us in the movie, I guess, because the Tyrannosaurus gets up and attacks O'Leary and makes his house.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the Neanderthal attacks O'Leary. What'd you say?
Oh, you're right. Oh, I forgot.
Neanderthals are known for their hatred of Irishmen.
It's true. That's why they lived only in Europe. They're like, I
Yes.
already did the I-2-tie.
Yes.
Yeah, he makes the house explode, and O'Leary is annihilated, but not really, because then the T-Rex carries him off with his little hands.
Why? Why is he using his little hands, not just eating him?
Because I have a theory, actually. So they did this with a composite shot, right, where they had like footage of the stop motion T-Rex superimposed in the foreground with the Irish drunk actor in the background going and like twitching, and someone was clearly lifting him up off camera. Mm-hmm. I think he was intended to be in the mouth, and they couldn't quite get that effect to work. So like, what's easier is to put his hands over him in the super. So then you see him carried off by his little paws.
I think they wanted to keep this really for the kids. There was no blood.
Oh, you're right.
And there's some wacky comedy later.
There's some wacky toilet-based humor even.
What? No.
Yeah.
Not on this show.
Yeah, there is.
I know.
Oh. So he he gets carried off, never to be seen again because he's dead.
Yep. Then dynamite goes off. Oh, because he was going to throw dynamite at him, but he gets picked up.
Oh, you're right. That's why.
So
and then in the bar,
the phones don't work. No one has a radio. They want to call for help now.
It's very Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Like Nedry brought down all the systems.
Yes, he did. They have an old fortress they're going to go to. That's all you need to know.
So all the people in the island, they're in this bar. There had been a little fist fight between Bart and Hacker at this point. And then Hacker's like, they're like, listen, I'm the alpha male. I'm Bart. But then the power goes out. There's the explosion. They realize that there's no generators. Get it back on. They all run down to the beach. And they're like, what happened? Nobody could have lived through this explosion. And then they see these giant footprints, which are hilariously fake. And then they start hearing this. Did you record the noise by any chance?
Sure.
No, they keep playing like throughout. They play that Tyrannosaurus Rex yell. And it's like it's so funny. And I was surprised. Normally in a movie like this, I'd expect them to be like, that couldn't have happened. They're like, well, I guess the dinosaurs got hit by lightning and came back to life.
Yes.
And so they're immediately like, all right, so there's no power. There's no anything. Let's all get to the fortress at the end of the island.
Build a moat. We'll go there. Dig a moat. It's got a moat.
We'll dig a moat. Yeah, well, I guess it was a fortress. We'll dig out the moat. We'll fill it with fuel, and we'll make a fire to protect us from the dinosaurs. Like, all right, let's go. We'll warn everybody as we go.
Oh, I do have to mention.
Like, oh, wait. Yeah.
I think we missed a part in the bar because Julio is always with them, and Hacker comes in. He's like, ooh, Julio, what are you doing here? And Julio had 2 toy dinosaurs that were the exact dinosaurs we have in the show. He's like, this is what this one does, and this is what this one does. Rawr, rawr, rawr.
Yep.
And Hacker comes in and smashes them, crushes them under his feet.
I read in a factoid, those were actual Marx brand models.
I read that too.
Valuable nowadays. Yep.
Ooh, and he smashed them.
He smashed them.
He already took them out of the package, so.
Yeah, it's true. And he glued them together all shitty because he's a dumb little Julio. Julio's stupid. Yeah, so that's what starts the fist fight, actually. But then, once they discover the dinosaurs are alive and have eaten the Irishman, Hacker's like, well, I need to save that poor kid. And Betty, the blonde lady, is like, everybody's not all bad. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he leaves, like with his goons like, Hacker. Yeah, Popeye, and let's call him Wimpy. And they're like, I'm surprised you care, boss. He's like, I don't care. Let's get that. We're just going to get a caveman. We'll be rich. Damn hell ass rich.
Get that caveman DNA.
Yeah. It's like as you are hiding from dinosaurs, again, you're fixating on the caveman.
Me?
Julio. No, I'm talking to that guy, Hacker. No. Oh, wait, Tim, are you fixating on the caveman?
I am.
Oh, Tim just stood up. I saw for the first time. He's wearing tattered leopard skins and carrying a giant club. Tim, you have to calm down. Julio finds the caveman at this point.
Oh, wait, George, you got to at least cover the comedy that happens before Julio meets caveman. Caveman goes to a house, which is Betty's mom, we figure out.
Betty's mom's
Betty's
house,
mom lives alone. Comedy, like she's doing a facial, and she comes to the window.
Whoa, Tim, whoa.
It's facial.
Whoa, Tim.
That term back then meant something else.
So she has like silly makeup on her face.
She scares Neanderthal. Neanderthal scares her. And he wants
they both
the
see each other in the window.
fruit.
And like, yep. Oh, it's fake fruit?
Remember? The fake fruit is on the counter. You skip all this comedy. And he finally gets in. He grabs an axe.
I saw the fruit was fake. I didn't think it was supposed to be fake. I just figured it was the 60s.
And he was like, bah.
Yeah.
You didn't see that?
60s fruit. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't supposed to be
There is a bone. All right, so they scare each other. She runs away. We never see her again. So presumably she runs into the woods and dies.
I know.
He comes in. It's a kind of chilling scene. He sneaks in through the side of the house where he gets a little axe, then a big axe. I'm like, caveman with an axe seems like a bad idea.
Then a bigger axe. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's this big axe. He gets inside the house and he's like, he sees a reflection of himself in the mirror and he hits it with the big axe.
Mm-hmm. The radio scares him.
The radio, he smashes the radio, which is bad because they were going to that house in order to call for help. So now they can't because the caveman smashes that.
But it kept playing the Who's On First routine by Abbott Costello. That's why he smashed it.
Old references.
He was tired of this already.
Tim is 300 years
Everyone knows that reference.
Tim is so old. He goes into the bathroom and he runs out when he flushes the toilet. That part was actually kind of funny. Tim, I have a question. Do you think
why did he run away from a flushing toilet? I'm not sure.
I mean, if you didn't know what it was, if you just push a button and it makes that noise, you probably run.
I think Betty's mom left a big dookie in there. That's all I got to say. That's why he ran.
Do you think he went in later and took a big caveman shit on top of it?
Maybe.
Why are we doing this? Folks, I'm sorry. Say it's wacky shenanigans with the caveman.
And then Julio,
he tries to eat a book. What book is it?
How to Serve Man, maybe, I think.
How to Serve. Oh, it's good. That'd be good. Yeah. He's having wacky shenanigans.
He jumps on Betty's mom's beds. Now, this is why something I noticed. Betty says her mom lives alone. She has two beds. Did you see that? She has two beds pushed together. She lives alone. Why does Betty's mom have two beds?
Because when he comes over and gives her the Rim Ram Jam, Hacker snores afterwards.
Hacker.
Yeah, I think Hacker comes over and services her.
Well, George, this is my only other list.
Oh, you're only other. The way you said that makes me think you have more than one other list.
I'm so chill this week. Because
so chill, everybody.
Why did she have two beds if she lived alone, George? Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Originally, she had 5 beds because way back when her husband was around, she said she wanted to have a lot of bread, but he misheard her. So that's why she had 5 beds. That's not a joke. It's just why she had 5 beds. So
I guess that's not a joke because it, strictly speaking, wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't. It's just a setup. Just a setup.
Yep.
But now she has 2 beds. Why? Well, O'Leary stole one as the bed he had at home would spin every night. See, he wanted a better bed.
And he kept pissing on
O'Leary, he's the Irishman, by the way.
Well, we all remember. The drunk, dead Irishman.
Second reason?
Uh-huh.
Well, she sold the other bed because now she's got 3. Mm-hmm. Or 4, is it? She's got 4. Now she sold the other bed so she could afford an O'Leary alarm. An O'Leary alarm.
Because O'Leary keeps coming in stealing her beds.
The third reason?
Uh-huh.
The O'Leary alarm didn't work because O'Leary, he hired a leprechaun to steal another bed because the first one he stole also spun at night.
Wow, O'Leary.
So there you go.
All these beds spinning. You got to start wondering, is it maybe you and your DTs, which you're aware of?
She kept those 2 beds. Those were her lucky asbestos mattresses. She wanted to keep those.
And we know that if O'Leary had been carried off in the arms of a T-Rex, he would have stolen that last bed.
He would have.
Like, this one spins too, IT time. At some point, there is a scene where we see a bunch of characters we've never seen before in a bus traveling across the island trying to get away.
Right.
And the T-Rex just kills them, apparently.
Oh, that's right. That was like Jurassic Park, right? They were on a tour.
It was very like they're on a tour kind of thing, and it's stepping on the vehicle and crushing it. It was very Jurassic Park-y. Yeah.
And this kid is very Jurassic Park, because like in Jurassic Park, the kids are like, I know that dinosaur. It's a such and such.
Yeah, well, I mean, kids like dinosaurs, but yeah,
I know.
It is weird. There was a few Jurassic Park things.
Yes. Because at one point, Hacker, he was just eating the ice cream because the freezer had broken down. Like, your kid's out there, and I don't care. I'm just going to stuff my face with ice cream.
And he started telling Jeff Goldblum, because they both have Jeff Goldblum. He told him about his flea circus.
Yes.
And he said, you want to see it? And he took his hat off, and he was teeming with vermin.
Then he said, I thought that hat smelled bad on the outside.
Oh, no. Everybody, our podcast, what happened to it?
It's very relaxed night. Very relaxed.
It's a very relaxed night.
There is some weird good joke with the bad guys. I can't remember it, but I thought I wrote it down. Oh, Hacker tells his assistant he sounds like he's a pretty good anthropologist because of something he said. Oh. And he says, no, boss.
Anthropologist, actually, he says.
Sorry.
He says to his assistant, I didn't know you were such a good anthropologist, because this is the thing. They're looking in the cave for the caveman. That's and right. His assistant goes, well, it's a cave. It should be where you find a caveman, right? Mm-hmm. And Hacker goes, I didn't realize you were such a good anthropologist. And then the assistant says,
I haven't been to church in ages, boss. Yeah, something like that.
Da-da-da-da. And then the Irish guy comes in and goes, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow. And then he walks back off camera again.
Yes.
Again, just want to stress, the bad guys are being chased around an island where there is a T-Rex.
Right.
And a Brontosaurus walking around, and they're still like they had such a boner for these cavemen.
Oh, and the caveman is still Betty's mom's trying on a dress, by the way. More comedy.
Yep.
That's why they couldn't film this in Florida.
Julio, because the governor. Julio eventually comes in. He sees that he's like, "Oh, you're a caveman."
Yep.
Oh, have you eaten yet? This is where they keep all the food.
Yes.
And he shows them inside the fridge, and they put food out and.
Jello mold?
He's like, he goes, oh boy, we're in luck. They have pie. Mm-hmm. And they sit at the table, and the caveman does like that thing dogs do where he sits on the seat and spins around before he sits down.
Right.
And
scratches his butt in the carpet.
Yeah, he drags his ass along the carpet. He's about to eat the pie with his hands, and Julio's like, no, you have to eat with a fork.
Yep.
It's this whole stupid like E.T. sort of thing, like the kid befriending like the...
It's like T2. It's like, no, this is how you do it. Because later, when he fights the bad guys. Julio's like, no, don't kill.
And the caveman becomes molten metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the caveman's going to shoot them in the chest. He's like, no, don't kill. You don't kill. Them so he shoots him in the knees. You're talking about T2. T2. George.
I know. Okay. All right.
And the Neanderthal. Yeah, he had an axe. He axes them in the knees.
He's gonna, but nobody does die, like you said. Julio and the caveman are hanging out.
Yeah.
They hear someone entering the door, and Julio's like, oh boy, that's Bart and Betty. Won't they be excited when they learned I taught the caveman how to eat with a fork?
Right.
But it's not Bart and Betty. It's Hacker and his 2 assistants.
Yep. Popeye and Wimpy.
And Popeye and Wimpy. And they are going, the caveman is going to kill him with an axe, which would have been a very different movie. And Julio's like, no, we don't kill people. So... No, he just fucking drags him off.
No, the caveman beats them up and runs away, remember?
No, I honestly didn't. I watched half this movie.
He's a Neanderthal.
Yeah?
He smashes rocks over their heads and runs away. Come on.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched like half this movie one night and half the other, and that's about where I stopped watching. So I came back, I'm like, oh, what happened?
Well, the Neanderthal picks up Betty like King Kong. Remember?
Yeah, wait, why is Betty there?
It's blurry here.
Oh, no, I remember what happened actually. Because then the dinosaur comes.
Yeah.
And the dinosaur is fighting the Brontosaurus and the T-Rex. And what we should have mentioned is there was a scene where the boy and the caveman were riding around the Brontosaurus because apparently the Brontosaurus and the caveman were friends.
Yes.
And then the T-Rex and the Brontosaurus are fighting, and the T-Rex has got him by the throat and is just choking him, going, this noises.
Yeah,
but
while
sad. This is happening, it was sad.
Sad for Julio.
Julio's off the side. He's throwing rocks at the T-Rex because, it's going to help. And the caveman is hitting the T-Rex in the foot with the axe.
That's what causes the T-Rex to drop Betty, but you kind of skipped why. It doesn't matter why.
The T-Rex was carrying Betty around in his hands because this T-Rex is very handsy. The caveman gets Betty. They run off into a cave. They're talking.
And then he gets handsy, and she's like, hey.
He's definitely going to grab, she's like, let me distract your amorous impulses.
Yes.
Which I'm like, wow, we're going there, huh?
He immediately makes her cook. Nothing.
Yep.
You cook.
1960s. She's like, if I cook you enough food, maybe go to sleep and not have any more dangerous thoughts. I'm like, we're treating the concept of sexual assault by a caveman very humorously in this movie.
Oh, she sings him to sleep, right?
Yeah. Yep. She sings him to sleep. But what does she sing, Tim?
Inagata
Davida by Iron Butterfly.
Yes.
It's weird because they won't exist as a band for years yet, but yeah, it's kind of strange. She knew it. She wrote it. It turns out they stole it from this movie.
They did.
Yep. And then Pete Best shows up.
They did. The end.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry. I failed. I feel bad when I fail. Failed to yes and that.
Well, it was a pretty obscure one. Why did I go to Inagata Davida? Because I thought it'd be funny to picture a caveman, you're trying to get him to sleep. You're like, Inagata Davida. Oh, no. That's funny. And
why is she singing like Elvis?
It's a good question.
Well,
because he was the king. Yep.
Well, earlier on, somebody steps in quicksand. So I'm like, well, I know what's going to happen to somebody.
Almost steps in quicksand. Yeah, almost steps in. Because while this is happening, this fight, it's being observed by Bart and Dumpy.
Yeah.
And they're going to sneak over and get Julio, stop and throwing rocks at the dinosaur. Yes. And they're walking and Bart, because of course it's Bart, because he's awesome. He's like, not that way, Dumpy. That's quicksand. He's like, oh, thanks, senor. And they go around. So they get Julio. They all run to a cave.
And Hacker's still like, yeah, there they are. Let's get this caveman.
Yep. Because Hacker, again, doesn't realize. He looks at that caveman, sees dollar signs, looks at the dinosaurs. He's like, eh.
Oh, the Bronto went into this quicksand, we should say.
Yep.
And then the Tyrannosaur.
The Bronto's not dead, wanders into the quicksand.
It's very stupid, Bronto.
Yeah. And the T-Rex starts kicking the mine, trying to get them out.
And
Bart's like, there's nothing but rotted timbers holding up. Yeah, they throw a Molotov cocktail.
Set him on fire. Oh.
Set his mouth on fire, but he's okay.
Like Jaws, right? He says, if I can get it in his mouth, Jaws.
And he says, choke at this, you son of a bitch.
So many movies.
Yep.
I've ripped off this movie.
Do you remember there was that scene, too, where Dumpy, when they were sitting around the bar, and he's showing off the scars, and there's this big jagged scar, and they're like, what's that one from? Dumpy's like, oh, back in the Great War, I went into the water. 1,600 sailors went into the water, and the T-Rex came at us with its dead doll eyes.
I do
1,500 dumpies went in the water. Only I came back. Highty tighty tie.
Wait, was that Dumpy or was that O'Leary?
He said the highty tighty tie because that's when Leary walked in. It was like reading.
O'Leary opens his shirt and then opens his skin and shows his scarred liver. Yeah. See this one?
That's from the 7 bottles of whiskey I drank just since 5 o'clock this morning. So they're all trapped in the mine. They're happy to see Hacker, but Hacker pulls the gun. He's like, I'm getting that caveman and the money. And he shoots the caveman in the arm, but there's no blood or anything.
Nope.
Then the T-Rex is kicking and the whole mine's coming down. So the caveman is holding up the whole mine.
Yep.
And they all got to escape. He's like, Julio's like, why did the caveman behind?
Yep.
And they leave the caveman, and he gets killed, but they step outside.
He's under the
Hacker.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hacker's buried under the rubble. We didn't see his gun in his hand and his white suit sticking out. But he's there.
Yep. It could have been Mark Twain, white suit, but we're pretty sure it was Hacker.
Could have been Tom Wolfe. Yeah. Could have been Saruman the White.
Ray Bradbury.
Yeah. Could have been who else wears all white? Could have been. That's it.
Also, the caveman's, just like T2, the caveman's hand was under the rubble, but it was like giving thumbs up as it sunk under the rubble.
Yep.
And Julio's like, oh.
And he said, hasta la vista. Yep.
No, he says, now I understand why eyes leak. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
So
he says, tell Betty I'll be calling her, if you know what I mean.
Anyway, they chase the
get to
Tyrannosaurus,
the fucking fort.
And there's a stop motion fight with a crane and a dinosaur. Just like the end of Aliens when Ripley fights with her forklift with the alien.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities.
Dumpy's in it and he hits it. He goes, step away from him, referring to Julio. You bitch. Yeah. And he hits him. Yeah.
It's a pretty good stop motion battle.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
It's fun.
They escape. They get to the fortress where everybody else is. We meet a second white guy who's now his girlfriend is now Cheetah. She has been bartered away from being Hacker's girlfriend to Cheetah to Chuck's girlfriend. And all the people are there and they're checking out the fortresses. They're like, we're watching for him. Oh, and this is when we get our black stereotype.
You're going back. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Because there's a guy who's supposed to be watching and he's asleep.
He's asleep.
I actually did laugh when they woke him up and he immediately almost stabbed Bart.
Right.
Like seconds away from killing him. It's like, oh, dinosaur. It's like, that's not a dinosaur guy. So then the T-Rex comes.
It was after this, the T-Rex fights with the crane. Sorry, I got ahead of it.
You got ahead of all the stuff. T-Rex fights the crane. They blow it up. There blows ups.
Yep.
Falls in the water.
And Julio's like, why caveman die? And Chuck's like, well, he awoke in a world he didn't understand.
Yep, like I do every single day. That's why I drink.
Julio, imagine if you awoke in the world of 2024 and found that people believe the world is flat. All your racist relatives can find you on Facebook at the click of a button. And
dinosaurs didn't exist, or if they did, they were written by Jesus. Yeah.
6,000 years ago. And...
Well, no. And then we see on the boat, there's the boat of people going by. They're like, look at those people waving at us. Nothing exciting ever happens there. And that's the director. Yep. And it's funny. And then they pan to the T-Rex underwater and it says the end. And then the letters jumble and become a big question mark.
Just like the Blob, Mr. Jack Harris.
It's like he has a style.
Yep.
And what's even more exciting is that really perfectly sets up our revenge-based sequels.
Revenge. Wherever you're hiding, I'll find you.
Revenge.
One of us will die.
Who's most likely to cry? From this movie, who is most likely to cry during a cat circus in Australia? This is 1960. So they all pretty much lived, except for O'Leary.
And Hacker.
Although we've gone retroactively in the past. I think
I'm going to say
O'Leary would.
Wait,
I think
who would be? Okay, yeah.
we can retroactively. I think in the past, O'Leary, he just woke up in Australia once.
He didn't know he got there.
Wait, what's this?
He was in Chicago with my cow, and now here I am in Australia.
And he gets a beer and goes to the cat circus. He's just crying in his beer because those cats are his best friends now.
They remind him of his
loves
mom
them
too.
So much. Yes. Yeah. They're his best buddies. He's crying.
These cats are so special. Wait, why is he German now?
You did that, not me.
I know. That's what I lost control.
He wanted to fit in Australia.
So he went to the cat circus.
Yes, where it's all Germans.
But you know what the problem was? The cat circus, though, of course, all the indigenous mammalian species in Australia are marsupials. Mm-hmm. So those cats were an introduced species. And we know introduced species in Australia have a bad tendency on going unchecked, like rabbits did or cane toads. Yeah. This cat circus, they are so freaked out by his crying, they burst their bonds and spread out into the courtyard, into the countryside, where they multiply unchecked. They eat all the wallabies and koalas and didgeridoos and whatnot, and the entire continent of Australia is blighted by cats. And they eat a baby, and they blame it on the dingoes.
There we go. Now we got somewhere.
There we go. Woo!
That's what happened.
Hi, Australian listeners.
It all ties in.
All right.
Tighty ties.
Tighty.
Oh. All
right.
I'm relaxed. You want to do yours first?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, play the music.
Here it goes.
All right. As Tim pointed out, there was a pretty low death count in this movie. A lot of unexplained characters. Even the goons live. They just run off, although...
they quit.
Hacker does shoot at them, so maybe they got winged.
Popeye and Wimpy. They do the worst quitting, because the one guy's like, okay, I'll go do, because they want him to go in the cave where the dinosaur was.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, I'll go do it. And he walks 5 steps and goes, nope. And he runs away. It's like, it's the weirdest. Anyway.
Well, the thing, I don't know if you realize this, Tim, it was actually a property of the island that death was very difficult to happen here.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, so Hacker, despite being buried in rubble, he's only partially buried. His hand is out. He's got that gun loose. He was able to use the gun to chip away at the rocks on him. Mm-hmm. He eventually climbs out. And he climbs out. Everyone has been evacuated from the island. Took everybody away because, yeah, I said that weird, right? They all got evacuated from the island because, like, there was a lot of dinosaurs running around shit, and he's alone. Yeah. And he's like, damn it, I still know I could make money with that monkey man.
Well, George, okay. The dinosaurs are still running around? Sorry, I don't mean to poke holes. He thinks they are.
Tim, when there's been a disaster in a place, you evacuate it. Doesn't matter if it's still happening.
No, but I thought there were still dinosaurs.
No, there's not still dinosaurs. Okay. They're probably in the water.
Go ahead.
He's looking for the monkey man, though, the Neanderthal. And he's like, I can't get inside there, but I know that people love monkey men type creatures. So I should mention something unfortunate happened to him while he was buried in the rubble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he was one of the passing Brontosaurus marked him with his scent.
Uh-oh.
It pissed on that, turning his white suit completely yellow.
Okay.
So stinking of dinosaur piss, bruised, beaten, wandering around a mostly deserted island, unable to find his monkey man. This guy swears revenge on the world. He's like, I will find my fame and fortune no matter what. He's looking for anyone to vent his rage on. Mm-hmm. And from the nearby palm tree, he hears a chittering noise.
Okay.
Oh, he looks up and he sees this monkey staring at him. It's a curious little monkey. Mm-hmm. And this man in his yellow suit with his yellow hat, he takes this monkey and he names this monkey George. And they move to the big city. Mm-hmm. He writes a series of popular kids' books about this monkey and him with his yellow hat and his yellow suit. And you know what those books were called?
I probably can't.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah, this is this. It's the story of young Michael Crichton. That's why there were so many similarities between these two movies. This is a true biopic. And Michael Crichton took that money. He went to Jeffrey Epstein's island a bunch of times. He did unspeakable evils there. And eventually, he shot Julio in the cold blood.
Because he was down by the schoolyard?
Yeah, because he was down by the schoolyard.
What he saw was against the law.
Yeah, and, his mama looked down and spat on the ground every time his name got mentioned. Yeah. Yep. And, that's the end.
So, George and our audience, this is the third time we've told a man in the yellow hat story. I don't know if you know that.
I know. It's almost like it's a weird obsession of mine.
No.
I got excited.
I did one, and you did one in the same episode. It was Golden Amazons.
Yep. And I think it's pumped up even more than that.
Okay.
I do think the man in the yellow hat comes up a lot. I think anytime there's a man with a hat and there's a potential for the hat to be yellow, if there's a monkey, forget it. We're going there. Yeah. But this one, I took the spin. I kind of made you think it was a man with the yellow hat, but it was really Michael Crichton soaked in piss.
Okay.
Yep. And it was called Hacker.
I like that one.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
Give it.
Yep. It's my best story ever.
4 Jack Elams.
That's not how the Jack Elam scale works, but yeah.
So mine's short. I'm still making them shorter here. So, I have one question to ask. Who would want revenge on these white people? Not the rest of the people on the island. These white people. That's how I start my
every
story.
Single indigenous person who is every single person on the island.
Well,
they should all want revenge on these fucks.
No, the paleontologists of the world. Because these idiots, they destroyed 2 living dinosaurs and maybe a Neanderthal because they didn't seem to give a shit of what they discovered. So...
How long do you think those dinosaurs have been there, Bart? I don't know, maybe 1 million years. Who the hell knows? Where's my whiskey?
So all the white people on this island are on the run. Bert, Barry, Chuck, Dumpy, and Julio. And the paleontologists of the world...
his name is Bart, not Bert. But
okay. Yeah. I thought he was the guy that made Bert's bees. Bert's honey.
Bert's bees, yeah.
So all the paleontologists on the world, they put a hit list on these people because they're out for revenge for what they did.
Does Alan Grant, is he part of it?
Who?
Alan Grant?
No.
No?
No. Alan Grant.
He's the guy from Jurassic Park, by the way.
Oh. Sorry. No.
Still no.
So
is Edie Sadler? Is Edie Sadler part of it?
Nope.
Or Ellie Sadler? No.
This is 60. 61.
1960, okay.
Oh, it's actually 1963 this happens. So one hit man.
Oh, 3 years have passed.
He tries to kill Bert and Betty at the gathering to see JFK when he visits Dallas, but instead he misses and hits some people behind the grassy knoll, George. See? Didn't see that coming.
See, I knew as soon because as soon as you said 1963, I'm like, oh, it's Kennedy. Because it's always Kennedy.
Wait.
You're like fixed points of time. 63 is Kennedy. 64 is the Beatles. 70 is the Beatles splitting up.
Well, it's 1966.
77. No, 76 is the bicentennial.
Well,
77 is Star Wars. Anytime anything happens to those, you got to mention them.
I got to mention. 1966, he hired hitman to climb a clock tower at the University of Texas.
Oh, no, we're not doing a Starkweather homicide
tries
thing,
to
are we?
hit Chuck, but he ends up shooting a bunch of other people.
Good Lord, Tim.
I know, this got dark.
This got really dark.
That's
1980, does he shoot John Lennon?
No, another hitman. Okay. This one's heartwarming. Another hitman. He learns that Dumpy's last name was Humpty, and he tracks him down in Florida. Tracks him down to the IHOP he eats lunch at every day, and he was going to kill him.
Okay.
But he fell on the floor, and he was stuck in the maple syrup while Dumpy wandered off without leaving a tip.
Did Dumpy join the Digital Underground after?
Yeah, I think so.
Humpty, yeah, that's good.
We'll get there. But Julio, he grows up to be a paleontologist due to seeing his dinosaur toy stomped on by Heckler. He's always trying to put dinosaurs back together.
I like that Hacker became Heckler.
Hacker, yeah. Heckler. I wrote Heckler.
You write a lot of weird things.
He smashed his dinosaurs, so he grew up to put dinosaurs back together.
Oh, catharsis.
But he was bothered by one thing. How was it a Neanderthal was frozen with dinosaurs as they lived 66 million years apart? He looked into this.
Oh, more than that, Tim. If it's 156 million years of that Brontosaurus. Yes. And they were friends, apparently.
So he looks into this, and he looks into the facts that maybe giants walked the earth once, and maybe the earth was only 6,000 years old. And he started working on a paper about this theory. He was going to publish it, but one day he was visited by some people from the Smithsonian, and they had a long talk with him. And after that...
And that talk involved them beating up Julio, I bet.
Maybe. Because after that, Julio was quiet and gave up his research into that theory. And many of his colleagues even thought maybe that wasn't really even Julio anymore. It was as if a new person was impersonating Julio. And in fact, when Dumpty Humpty died after falling from the wall outside of the IHOP in Florida, Julio didn't even come to the funeral.
All Elvis's horses and men couldn't put him back together again?
Nope.
Okay.
But Julio did go to the funeral. And when he was asked about that, Julio simply said, Humpty Dumpty sat on the IHOP wall. Dumpty Humpty had a great fall. I couldn't put him back together again. Only dinosaurs. The end.
Why
it's called The Julio Who Knew Too Much. There you go. The end. Both.
And if anyone is listening, please write to us at Seddy Bimco, @gmail.com.
Those were both
Yep.
great stories. I knew this episode I was going to be relaxed, and it's all going to be great.
Does that mean you're normally, when it's not a good movie, like, are you stressed?
No, I'm just chilling.
Chilling like a villain? Chilling like Bob Dylan.
I'm looking for the email.
All right. Yeah.
Do we have emails, George? Is that what you're asking?
No, of course we don't.
No,
of course we don't.
It's all clogged up.
It's all clogged up. Blah, blah, blah.
So I hope we explained this movie well. They unfroze some dinosaurs, chased them around, killed them.
There's a caveman having hijinks.
Heckler or Hecker is a bad guy. Got crushed by rocks.
Became Michael Crichton.
So there you go. Yeah. So there we go.
Yep.
What state are we visiting next week,
Tim?
George?
By the time people listen to us, they will listen to the great controversy where I actually made a visit to another state, and you chose a movie from Texas. It was supposed to be from Massachusetts, but it wasn't. We are going to watch a proper fucking... You know what, Tim, what state do you and I live in?
New York.
We're going to do a fucking New York movie.
Oh, that's supposed to be mine.
I don't care.
Oh, my God.
Because I realize we have to do the movie Chud.
You suck.
You know what? We could do 2 New Yorks, Tim.
No, we can't do that. We can't cheat.
Yeah, we can. Because we already cheated with the fucking Massachusetts. And we just did the fucking U.S. Virgin Islands.
I get Texas.
All right. You could do Texas. All right. But Chud.
What's that stand for?
Well, it's a couple different things. Most famously, people think it stands for cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. But there is another thing the Chud acronym stands for.
Isn't this supposed to be kind of a good movie?
It kind of is, but it's like that's good, right?
Okay, not too good.
It's here's the reason I want to do Chud, because Chud is like, have you ever seen Chud?
I think I did watch that once, but I don't remember anything about it.
Independent film shot in New York City. It's got some real good New York City shit in it.
Okay.
Yep.
You mean like subways and?
Yep. You see some real, like, what I forgot what the other thing Chud stands for. We'll reveal it in the episode.
Henderson. Oh, it's like
contaminated 30 something underground development. I don't know.
This is 33% on Mr. Rotten Tomato. So that's
not that great.
That's good.
But you know what? It stars Daniel Stern, the Wet Bandit.
The Wet Bandit.
The guy from Home Alone.
Home Alone, I know.
Yep.
I know.
And the dad from Home Alone. It's like got multiple Home Alone people in it. And one of the Chuds is played by
Mark Twain?
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Before he was born.
Yeah, he was just a little amoeba, little zygote.
All right.
Chud.
Okay, it's Chud.
We watch Chud, everybody.
We said everything. It could be
Chud.
to say.
Chud.
Watch that Ren Fair show. It's bizarre.
And Chud. And watch Chud.
I kind of think working at the Ren Fair, like, that could be fun. But then I think, are these people really strange to hang out with constantly?
Oh, I bet.
Maybe. Have you been to a Ren Fair? You have?
No, so many times I've come so close, and I never have.
I went once. I went and saw the
a couple
Mud
times
Show.
Recently.
Have you seen a Mud Show?
Yeah, you've told about. I think you've on this very show. You've talked to the Mud Show.
Okay,
a woman went under the mud and then surfaced somewhere different.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Yep.
That's how you met producer Miss Lee, because she was that woman. Because then she just burrowed into your house. You're like, well, I guess you live here now.
Well, first I was like, I dragged her out of the mud. I was like, oh, a Neanderthal. I'll take this home.
And then you killed all those people.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah, it's good.
I ate a chicken. Not even a chicken.
A turkey leg.
That's the first time I said, ooh, that's not good. I had to sit down for a while. So it was once. It's good to go once.
I like when you share your early food memories.
Went through the corn maze or whatever. They built a maze. I was like, this is fun. But once was fine.
Yep. So you're not going to live in a town. I believe you. Why wouldn't I believe you?
That show is very odd. You see that guy's house? Just picture what you think a guy's house looks like who lives only for Ren Fairs, and he had a house for 50 years.
And he dresses like a Generalissimo all the time.
He's just got Greek columns. Greek columns. I don't know why, but Greek columns.
I'm going to say he has somewhat sexy statues.
Yes, turquoise all over the bathroom wall.
Yeah. It's called Ren Fair?
I think it's called Ren Fair. Something.
Ren Fair HBO. That must be it, huh?
Yeah. So.
Is that going to be our Texas movie?
Check it out, people. No. Oh, I'm not going to tell you. It's a good one.
Right.
It's.
All right.
Oh, you're going to regret making that trade.
Wow.
Buddy boy.
I'm looking at this guy, and he looks like an African dictator.
Yes, I know.
It's insane.
They drive him around and show him what's going on, and it is like, he's like, oh, these are doing this. He says, oh yes, doesn't that look very nice? We did that this week. Looks very nice, huh? He just shakes his head yes. It's odd.
All right.
Hilarious. I guess we should go.
All right, bye everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
The kid, I think he was just
he had troubles. Remember, he had big parties in New York that the police had to come and be like, hey, you got to shut this down. People were...
Tim, you and I have had big parties in New York the police have come to.
No. I'm not on his scale. Well, I think he had a problem. I'm just saying. Drinking.
I'm saying.
Drugs.
Drugs.
I think he had a
Chuds.
problem.
I think he's good. I think he's the best guy.
Well, I hope he's okay. Why are you defending him so much? Is he there?
I am.
Is he there right now?
What if I pulled off my mask and I was Macaulay Culkin? Would you slap your hands to your face and go, oh?
Yes, I would.